Hello everyone, this is the Algebra 1 review sheet, Unit 1, review sheet, solving equations. Topic 1 is order of operations and simplifying expressions. So number 1, if t is -6, then this is going to equal what? So nice and easy, use order of operations to show all work, show all steps to receive credit. The first thing that you do is rewrite the expression. Then the second step is that when you rewrite the expression, this goes in for t. So I'm going to put -6 in for t. You have squared plus 5 times t, which is -6, plus 6. Using order of operations and not the calculator, you would go 3, -6 times -6. If you wanted to do that in your calculator, you could -6 squared. Put parentheses around it, -6, and then squared, and you'd get 36. So keep those parentheses to show multiplication, plus 5 times -6 is -30, and then plus 6. So I'm going to do this multiplication first because that's what you would do with order of operations. So I would do 3 times 36, and you get 108. And that's plus a -30 plus 6. So really this is 108 minus 30. I'm going to move it up here. Plus 6. And nobody knows that you're going to use the calculator for this, but I know it says order of operations. I'm going to put in 108 minus 30 plus 6. And my final answer is 84. And that's showing all your steps. And that's it. Number 2, Mr. Stanton asked the students to write an algebraic expression on a piece of paper. He chose 4 students to go to the board and write their expression and basically identify what each student wrote. So this is the identification that you have. Equation, 1 student wrote an equation, 1 student wrote an expression, 1 student wrote an inequality. Shows 4 students. So the first one right here, Robert came up and wrote this. Whenever you're talking about this right here, this is an inequality symbol, making it an inequality. Meredith wrote this without an equal sign and without an inequality symbol. So that is an expression. Plain and simple. And then the third one, it has an equal sign, so it's an equation. That's it. So remember, an equation always has that equal sign. And that's it for that one. Use order of operations to simplify this expression. Show all work. So I'm just going to rewrite this. This is 5 plus 4 squared times, I'm going to change the times from an x to a dot, x minus 2 to the third divided by 2 to the second. So I'm just going to go along and just say, all right, I'm going to get rid of the exponents. So this is 16. 4 times 4, 8, minus 2 times 2 times 2. In your calculator, you could do 2 to the third power by just going to that caret button up and to the third power. And that's 8. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. Divided by 2 times 2, which is 2 squared, that's 4. So now looking, and we're taking a look at order of operations, PEMDAS. This I'm leaving alone, this addition, but I'm going to do 16 times 8 right now. And I'm going to bring up the calculator. 16 times 8 is 128. As soon as I take that one step, right, that's positive times a positive. Just let me just make sure 128 is what I got for that. Minus, you see this 8 divided by 4, that's 2. So I combined this and I did this, right? And now I just have from left to right 5 plus 128 minus 2, because I have addition and subtraction, and I could use the my calculator. So we have 5 plus 128 minus 2. 5 plus 128 minus 2. And that's showing all your steps. And that is 131. And that's it. All right, number 4. It says explain what the third step would be. So we're going to number them as we go. Then the first thing that I am going to take care of is the exponent. So I'm going to put this as the first step. And I'm going to do 5 times 8 plus 6 divided by 6 minus 12 times 4 instead of, so I got rid of the exponents there. And here's my second step. When I look at this, I am going to just do all of the multiplication here with 5 times 8. So I have 40 plus 6 divided by 6 minus 12 times 4. All right, so I did that second step. I just did the multiplication. Going to the right just a little bit, this third step would be the 6 divided by 6. All right. And then so you have 40 plus 1 minus 12 times 4. So this right here would be that third step that we're talking about. And that is it. 6 divided by 6. So for topic number 2, we're going to talk about the properties of real numbers. We're going to get right into it. What property did Bernard use in that first step? So let's just take a look at what the first step is right here. So taking a look at that first step, you have 3 times x, which is 3x. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. That's what Bernard did. So we're talking about the distributive property over subtraction. All right, I'm just gonna of multiplication over subtraction. All right, a method for solving this equation shown below, right here, is shown below. Identify the property used to obtain each of the two indicated steps. So here we go again with this. Remember, they'll always ask it, and we're going to be talking about distributive property again. And just remember, of multiplication so distributive property of multiplication over subtraction, and then we got into this second step here. So now looking at the second step, we're talking about this. So 5x minus 2x. So they took this and moved it next to that. Right? And they switched this and the 2x. So then they had plus 10 equals 9. Everything stays pretty much the same there at the end, but they just switched it. They took this and they put it right there. And they took this and they put it right there. And you have to ask yourself, which property just is a move, a switch of order? That switch is a commutative property of addition. Right? Brittany is solving quadratic equation. Her first step is shown below. And look at the problem. All right, so we're just going to take the highlighter out, and we're going to say 3 times 2. This is the same. This is different, so it's negative 10. All right, which two properties did she use? Negative 8, so that's a switch. And then this now became this. So this switched. That's commutative property again of addition. That's definite. And then the distributive property of multiplication over subtraction is one of those things that will always be the case. So 2 and 4. Just watch out for that distributive property. Distributive property is always asked about. When solving this equation right here, Emily wrote this first step right here. Which property justifies Emily's first step? So let's just take a look. No distributive property is being used. So we're talking about here, this negative 9 is disappearing. So it now becomes, if you figure what you would do, you would say, okay, plus 9, plus 9. So if I'm writing this down, I hate using the multiplication symbol for the x as an x, but this is exactly what Emily did. So we're talking about adding 9 to both sides. And so when Emily did get, she canceled this out and it became 4 times 3 times 3 times 2 plus 2, that stayed the same, equals, and then it's 8 times 2 plus 16. And then so you could see that she did the addition property of equality. All right, she's adding 9 to one side, and she added that same thing to the right side. And she used the addition property of equality, like we said, by adding 9 to each side of the equation. All right, topic number 3, solving multi-step equations. We're going to get right to it. Remember, when you're distributing a negative, just be careful. You have this negative 20x. Everything changes inside. Negative times a negative is positive 30. Equals 2x minus 14. Then we get the x's together. Just try to bring the smaller x over to the larger. And that's why I'm adding the 20x on both sides. This cancels. You have 30 equals 22x minus 14. You add 14 to both sides. And you get 44 equals 22x. I'm going to bring it up here. 44 equals 22x. And then the last step is to use inverse operations to divide. X equals 2. And A is your answer. To determine the solution in the equations below. Wow, this is a lot. But I'm going to do distributive property first. So I'm just going to do this. And then just rewrite everything. And this is negative 4x. So I'm just going to show you how to do this in the calculator. This is negative 4. Negative 4. Times, and I'm going to press alpha x to get that fraction, and it is a negative 3 over 2. That's how you would put that. It's negative times a negative, so you know it's positive, and it's nice. It comes to a positive 6. Right? So now on the left side, I'm just going to combine like terms. You see that this term and this term need to be combined. All right, so I'm going to just bring the calculator back. This is negative 4.1. And we have minus 7.4. And you press enter, it's negative 11.5. Negative, and then that's x. Don't forget the x, 12. So that's nice. You have two terms on that left side. Now you could just go ahead on the other side and do 1.5x minus 4x, combining like terms. 1.5 minus 4. Checking your answer is negative 2.5. Negative 2.5x. This is x. And then plus 6. I'm going to bring the smaller over to the larger. And that's 11.5x. You add 11.5x. This cancels. This is negative 12 equals, and I'm just going to bring the calculator up again. Negative 2.5 plus 11.5. Being very careful. 9. 9x plus 6. Then you subtract 6 on both sides. This cancels. You get 9x equals negative 18. You divide by 9 on both sides. And you get x equals negative 2. And that is your final answer. One step at a time. What is the solution to this equation? Again, we're going to use the calculator, do distributive property right here. So it's negative 1/3 times 6. So again, alpha x, negative 1/3 times 6, negative 2. And that's y. And then we're going to just do the negative 1/3 times 6 again. But we're not going to do it again because we know it's a plot. It's a negative 2. Right? Negative times a positive is negative. Just be careful. Plus 21 equals 3y. See the left side of this equation? Combine like terms. Combine. Right? Negative 2 plus 21. Negative 2 plus 21. 19. So this is negative 2y plus 19 equals 3y. Now get the smaller y over to the larger y. This cancels. You have 19 equals 5y. Divide by 5 on both sides. And you could leave it like that. This is y equals 19 over 5. That is A. So A is your answer. Okay, last one. Number 4, negative 2.8. I'm just going to put the highlighter out to combine like terms. You know I'm going to have to combine. So negative 2.8 plus the 10.3. So I'm just going to bring this up. Negative 2.8 plus 10.3. And see what that comes out to be. It is 7.5. So you have 7.5k plus 13 equals 25. Subtract 13 on both sides. This cancels. You have 7.5k equals 12. Divide by 7.5. 12 divided by 7.5, I don't know what that is. So I'm going to grab my calculator. 12 divided by 7.5 is 1.6. Positive 1.6. And A is your answer. All right. Okay, topic number 4, 1, none, and infinitely many solutions. What value for the n, the constant, will result in no solution? So we're going to talk about no solution, and they just want to replace n with one of these numbers. So no solution means same x, different other numbers. And when we're talking about same x, the number before x is called the coefficient. Using math terms, the coefficients have to be the same, and there's different constants, other numbers. All right. So we're going to look for something that has, if we're going to substitute in for this n, we want a 10x. So I'm going to put this 5 in. And I know that 5 times 5 is 25x. That's no good. I need a 10x. 2 times 5. So I'm going to replace this with 2. So if I have 2 in there, and I do the distributive property, I get 10x plus 14 equals 10x plus 12. This is no solution. Same x, different other numbers. So B is your answer. So you substitute the 2 in And that's it. All right, what is the solution to the equation below? So I'm just going to go down to number 2, and I'm going to rewrite it. 3 times x plus 5. I have to have space. You know, if there's no space, I'm just going to rewrite it, and I'm just going to do whatever it is that I need to do, which is distributive property first on this left side. So we have 3x plus 15. And then I'm just going to combine like terms. Negative 7 plus 22. I just want to check that. It is 15. So we have 3x, bring the 3x down, and then the plus 15. This is the same on both sides, same expression. So same expressions on both sides of the equal sign. There's infinitely many solutions. If you wanted to continue, you would minus 3x on both sides. You get 15 equals 15. Same expression on both sides. Determine how many solutions you have. So we're just going to go ahead and do distributive property. 3.2 minus 1/2 x. I'm going to change it to a decimal. 1/2 x. And then negative 1/2 times 4 is 2. It's a negative 2. Positive times a negative is a negative 2. I'll get it. Equals 4.8 plus 2 minus 5.2. Okay. Look at the left side. Concentrate on the left side only. The left side right here has two terms that you can combine. I'm going to put the x first as negative 0.5x. And then 3.2 minus 2 is 1.2. For this side, I didn't put the x's down. That's not good. I'm going to take this, my calculator, and I'm going to do 4.8, combining like terms, minus 5.2. And you get negative 0.4x. And then I'm going to bring down that plus 2. I can tell right now that it has one solution. And the reason why I could tell is that it has different coefficients, different x's. That means it's going to have one solution, definitely. I'm just going to add the 0.5x. That's bringing the smaller over to the larger. This cancels. I'm going to go down here. 1.2 equals 0.1x is the only thing left with that. Negative 0.4 plus 0.5x is 0.1x plus 2. And then you subtract 2 on both sides. This cancels. And then I'm going to take the calculator and do 1.2 minus 2, just to be safe. And it's negative 0.8 equals 0.1x. Then I divide. This cancels. X equals, and I'm just going to take the calculator again, and I'm going to go 0.8 0.8, just to make sure, divided by 0.1. And that is 8. So that's my one solution. All right, and that was a lot of work there. But again, you do distributive property. You combine like terms on the left side, combine like terms on the right side. just use inverse operations, and then you'll kind of follow it through to the end. All right, find the solution of the equation below. Solve to justify your answer. Just remember, when you multiply by a half any number, if you multiply any number by a half, it halves the number. So you have half times 10x is 5x. Half of 10 is 5. Half of negative 8 is 4. And then we're going to do distributive property over here. 2 times 2 is 4x. 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Subtract 4x. This has one solution, so I'm going to cancel this out. Remember, you have different x's, different coefficients on either side, so that means you're definitely going to have a solution. This cancels. You have x minus 4 equals negative 4, and you add 4 to both sides. You're adding 4 to both sides since x equals 0. A is your answer. And we'll go on to topic 5. Real world problems, consecutive integers. The product of a number and 3. Let's go ahead and the product, that's multiplication, of a number and 3 increased by 5 is 7 less than twice the number. What equation can be used? Okay, product is multiplication. A number, the product of a number and 3, that's 3n. Product, multiplication. Increased by 5. The word is equals. 7 less is minus 7. Right? So minus 7. Twice the number. 7 less than twice the number. All right? So let me just rewrite this. 3n plus 5. The product of a number and 3. The product of a number and 3. This is out. This is out. Is. Increased by 5. Is. All right? So equals. 7 less than twice a number. I'm going to put the twice a number first. 7 less than that is this. So A is your answer. And that's it. Ben has 3 more than 4. Yeah, there we go. That's really good. All right. So Ben has 3 more than 4 times as many CDs as Jake. They have a total of 33 CDs. How many CDs does Jake have? So we're going to make a key, and we always make a key. So Ben, and then we have Jake. There's always one person that's just like the variable, the x, right? So you have to figure out what that is. Ben has 3 more than 4 times as many CDs as Jake. So Jake is the kind of like, you know, the variable that's alone. So Ben has 3 more than 4 times as many CDs as Jake. So 4 times as many CDs as Jake is 4x. 4x. 3 more than 4 times. So the total, which is the total CDs, is 33. Right? Yeah. All right. So how many CDs does Jake have? So we have to set up an equation here and set them equal to 33 because altogether they have a total of 33. And that's the only way that you're going to get the total is to add them together. Right? So we're just going to put that together like this. And then we're going to combine like terms. We're going to have 5x plus 3 equals 33. And then minus 3 on both sides. This cancels. You have 5x equals 30. You divide by 5. X equals 6. All right. How many does Jake have? 6. If you wanted to figure out Ben, you could substitute back in. It's 4 times 6, which is 24 plus 3, and that's 27. All right. Just adding them together you would get 33. And that's it. The perimeter of a triangle is 51 centimeters. It's the perimeter of a triangle. Triangles have three, or the lengths of the sides, the three sides. The lengths of the sides are consecutive odd integers. So right there, n equals the first. N plus 2 is the second odd. And n plus 4 is the third odd. You don't really need this to say that it is that has three sides. It has three sides because it's a triangle. So the lengths of the sides are consecutive odd integers. Since it's perimeter, you're adding. All right, so you have n plus 2 plus n plus 4, and that equals 51. 1, 2, 3, 3 n's plus 6 equals 51. Minus 6 on both sides. This is 3n equals 45. Divide by 3. N equals 15. So now we have 15, 17, and 19. And so we are going to 15 centimeters, 17 centimeters, 19 centimeters. That's it. Find the lengths of all three sides. Find three consecutive integers. I'm going to highlight 3 consecutive integers. 3 consecutive integers, such that the sum of twice the smallest and 3 times the largest is 126. Set up an equation that's solved to receive full credit. So, key. 3 consecutive integers. N is the first. N plus 1. Second. N plus 2. Third. Such that the sum, addition, of twice the smallest, and 3 times the largest is n plus 2, is 126. The sum of twice the smallest and 3 times the largest is 126. So we have 2n plus 3n plus 6 doing distributive property. 2n plus 3n is 5n. 5n plus 6 equals 126. You subtract 6 on both sides. Just going to drop up here is 120. Divide by 5. Divide by 5. And then n equals 24. Yep. Find the 3 consecutive integers. So we're just going to put 24, 25, and 26. So 24, 25, 26. All right? And that's it. All right, these are literal equations, the last topic. The students were asked to write a formula for the width of the rectangle using the perimeter, this right here. That is the formula. It just wants you to solve for W. So I'm just going to rewrite this. So the first thing that you do is to solve for W is you look on this right side, you minus 2L from both sides. This cancels. You have P minus 2L equals 2W. And then so I'm going to go all the way up here. This is 2L equals 2W. And then we're going to divide by 2 on both sides. W equals, solving for W, P minus 2L over 2. And that is your final answer. Solved for W. So this one right here, number 2. We're going to solve for P. First thing you want to do is look on the right side. I don't want to deal with the half and the P first at all. I'll deal with that last. So I'm going to subtract RT from both sides. Once I subtract RT from both sides, this cancels. You get A minus RT equals a half P. Do not divide, right? We're going to multiply this side by 2 over 1. Reciprocal. And then we're going to multiply this entire side by 2 over 1. All right? The 2's will cancel. P comes down equals 2 times A minus RT. And that is your answer. And you can leave it like that. All right. The formula for volume is this. We're going to I'm going to rewrite this again because I like it in my writing. Solve for R. Okay, this thing right here. So there's a lot going on. I want to get rid of the fraction first. So we're going to multiply this whole thing by 3, which is 3 over 1. And we're going to multiply this side by 3. So we have 3V equals, this 3 cancels with this, and you have pi r squared each. Now, you still need to get the r alone, so what I'm going to do is that I am going to divide by whatever I want to cancel. So pi and h, gone, gone, pi and h. So I have 3v over pi and h equals r squared. The opposite inverse operation to something squared is square root. So at this point, we're going to just square root both sides. This cancels with this. You're going to get square root of 3v over pi h equals r. And that is your final answer. Number 4. If 3ax plus b equals c, then what does x equal? So I'm going to go over here. You know what I'm going to do. I'm going to rewrite. And I have to solve for x. So the first thing that I do is subtract b from both sides because I need to get the x alone. Start to get the x alone. This cancels. You have 3ax equals c minus b. Then I'm going to divide by whatever I need to cancel. And I need to cancel the 3 and the a. So x equals c minus b over 3a. And that is c. And that ends the whole review sheet in a nutshell. If you needed to go back to see anything that I did along the way, go ahead, rewind, and just watch it and see, if you could understand what's going on. Remember, always ask us if you have any questions in the class, and that's it. I hope that helped, and thanks for watching.